Hey, this week at Preaching Donkey, we have something really cool going on, the Preacher's Journey Workshop. This is a 3-part workshop that is not on YouTube and it's not on the podcast. It is exclusively over at preachingdonkey.com/journey. You can register there, preachingdonkey.com/journey. And we're going to be talking over the next 3 days about the journey that we're on as preachers. Today's session is live right now. You just go register at preachingdonkey.com/journey, where we're talking about pitfalls, and particularly 3 pitfalls that preachers fall into, and then a devastating result from those pitfalls. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to rise above. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about the preacher's path. And that's where the journey comes in. This is really in-depth material. There's worksheets for each day. These videos are only up for a limited time. So you want to jump in, preachingdonkey.com/journey. But I want to give you just a glimpse of today's workshop. So I'm going to play for you the very first pitfall so you can just check that out. And then if you're interested in hearing more, you can go over and register, and that will drop you right into that page that has today's session live. So let's check out the first pitfall and then go register at preachingdonkey.com/journey. It's totally free and you can jump right in. And what I want to do is I want to identify 3 primary pitfalls that every single one of us that are in ministry are susceptible to, or we've dealt with these, and maybe you're dealing with them right now. The number one pitfall, the first thing we're going to look at, is that people get into ministry and they stop growing. Preachers in their journey stop growing. Here's what I mean by this. I mean that so often a preacher will get started, get some training, go to seminary, go to Bible college, read a few books, and then begin their preaching journey, begin their ministry journey, begin their church leadership journey, and they essentially rest on what they were taught 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And it's not necessarily that they were taught wrong. It's not necessarily like those things don't work anymore. Maybe they do. It's just that sometimes a preacher will get to the point, and maybe this has been the case for you, where they're not really at their best. Maybe they're at a level that is good enough, but is it truly at their best? I remember when I was young in ministry, this is around 2006, 2007, I was learning, I was growing, we were going to conferences, we were learning things. And then 2008 happened, and all of a sudden, we made some massive budget cuts at the church that I was on staff at the time. And one of the first things to go was training. And so we stopped going to conferences, we stopped buying books, we stopped attending different things that would help us grow, and we just had to kind of learn how to grow on our own, which was fine, and we could resource ourselves. But this went on for 4 or 5 or 6 years, and I remember at one point realizing I haven't gotten out of these 4 walls and gotten around other people that are also doing ministry in 2 or 3, 4 years. And I was starting to show signs of that. I was losing creativity. I was losing my edge. I was losing my sharpness. And I didn't even realize it was happening because I didn't want to cost the church money, and I didn't want to do anything that would make things worse on an already tight situation back in those days during the Great Recession. So I just kind of dealt with it. But that's my story. I'm not sure what you have gone through, but maybe you can relate to where you started out, you were doing great, and then all of a sudden you just look back and you go, I have not been intentional about my growth in a long time. Now that's the first pitfall that all of us can face. And there's a second pitfall that kind of goes along with it. You're going to see all these 3 relate. The second pitfall is that not only do pastors stop growing, but they... Well, I hope you can see that there's a whole lot packed into this workshop. I can't wait to see you on the inside. Jump right in, preachingdonkey.com/journey.